I was sitting at home on a Saturday evening, scrolling through my phone, when I received a text from my sister Jessica. "Hey Mark, would you be willing to help out at Ryan's 14th birthday party tomorrow? I could really use an extra pair of hands." Ryan was my nephew, a bright and energetic teenager who I adored. I hadn't seen him in a few months due to my busy work schedule, so this was the perfect opportunity to reconnect. "Of course," I replied immediately. "What time should I be there?" "The party starts at 2 p.m., but if you could come around noon to help set up, that would be amazing," Jessica responded. The next day, I arrived at my sister's house right at noon. The backyard was already partially decorated with blue and green streamers, balloons, and a large banner that read, "Happy 14th birthday, Ryan." Jessica was rushing around with a stressed look on her face. "Mark, you're a lifesaver," she exclaimed when she saw me. "I still have so much to do before the kids arrive." For the next 2 hours we worked together to set up tables, arrange food, and organize party games. Ryan helped too, his excitement growing with each passing minute. Around 1:45 p.m., the first guests started arriving. Ryan's friends were a diverse group of teenagers, each with their own unique personality. There was Alex, the tech-savvy one, who was already documenting everything for his social media, Maya, the artistic girl who had designed Ryan's birthday card, and twins Ethan and Noah, who were known for their competitive spirits. As more kids arrived, the backyard filled with laughter and chatter. I found myself helping Jessica monitor the activities, making sure everyone was included and having a good time. The party was in full swing when Jessica approached me with a worried expression. "Mark, I'm so sorry to do this, but I just got an urgent call from work. There's an emergency at the office, and I need to go in for a couple of hours. Would you be able to stay and supervise until I get back?" "Of course," I said without hesitation. "Don't worry about a thing. Ryan and I will handle everything." Jessica left, and I found myself in charge of 20 energetic teenagers. At first I was nervous, but Ryan stepped up as a great co-host, making sure his friends were engaged in the activities we had planned. We started with some classic party games like musical chairs and a water balloon toss. The kids were having a blast, and I found myself getting caught up in their enthusiasm. During a break, Alex approached me with an interesting proposition. "Mr. Henderson," he said respectfully, "we were wondering if you'd be willing to participate in our main event. It's something we've been planning for weeks." "What kind of event?" I asked curiously. "It's called the Challenge Relay," Alex explained. "We've set up 5 different stations around the backyard, each with a unique challenge. We usually compete in teams, but since we have an odd number of people today, we were hoping you'd join in and take turns with each group." I hesitated for a moment. I wasn't sure if participating in teenage party games was appropriate, but the hopeful looks on their faces convinced me otherwise. "Sure, I'd love to join in," I said with a smile. The kids erupted in cheers, and Ryan looked particularly pleased. "Great, let me explain how it works," he said, taking on the role of instructor. "We'll divide into 5 groups of 4 people each," Ryan began. "Each group will start at a different station. At each station there's a challenge that requires teamwork. The twist is that you, Uncle Mark, will rotate between the groups, helping each one with their challenge. After 10 minutes we'll blow a whistle, and you'll move to the next group." "That sounds like fun," I said, genuinely intrigued. The kids quickly divided themselves into groups, and I was assigned to start with Maya's team. The first station was set up near the garden, and involved building a tower using only marshmallows and spaghetti noodles. "Okay, team," I said as I joined them. "What's the strategy here?" Maya, who was clearly the leader of this group, had already drawn a blueprint. "We need to create a stable base first, using the marshmallows as connectors," she explained. "Then we'll build up from there. For the next 10 minutes, we worked together, carefully placing each piece of spaghetti and marshmallow. The tower grew taller and taller, and we were all holding our breath as we added the final piece." "Time," Ryan shouted, blowing the whistle. "Uncle Mark, it's time to move to the next station." Our tower stood proudly at about 3 feet tall, and Maya's team congratulated each other on a job well done. As I moved to the next station, I could hear them discussing ways to improve their design. The second station was run by Ethan and Noah, the competitive twins. Their challenge was a human knot game, where team members had to untangle themselves without letting go of each other's hands. "All right, team," I said as I joined the circle. "How do we solve this?" The group was a tangled mess of arms and legs, and it wasn't immediately clear how to untangle without breaking the rules. We spent several minutes analyzing the knot from different angles before one of the team members spotted a solution. "Okay, I think if I step over this arm and then duck under this one, we might be able to create some space, she suggested. We followed her instructions, and slowly but surely, the knot began to loosen. It required precise movements and clear communication, but eventually, we managed to untangle ourselves without breaking the chain. "Great job, everyone," I exclaimed as we finally stood in a circle, still holding hands but no longer tangled. The whistle blew again, signaling it was time for me to move to the next station. As I left, I could hear the team already discussing strategies for their next attempt. The third station was Alex's domain, and it involved a technology challenge. Each team had to create a short video using only their smartphones, with specific requirements. It had to be exactly 1 minute long, include 3 different camera angles, and tell a coherent story. "Okay, team," I said as I joined them. "What's our story?" The group brainstormed for a few minutes before settling on a mystery story about a missing birthday cake. They assigned roles. One person would be the detective, another the witness, a third the suspect, and I would play the victim. We need to be efficient with our time, Alex advised. "Let's film each scene twice to make sure we have good footage." For the next 10 minutes, we moved around the backyard, filming our short movie. Alex directed the scenes, making sure we captured the required camera angles. I found myself getting into character, dramatically describing how my birthday cake had mysteriously disappeared. As we were editing the final footage on Alex's phone, the whistle blew. "Time to move to the next station," Ryan announced. Our video wasn't perfect, but it told a complete story and met all the requirements. The team seemed pleased with their creation, and I was impressed by their creativity and technical skills. The fourth station was run by Ryan himself, and it was a physical challenge. Each team had to navigate an obstacle course while carrying a water-filled balloon. The goal was to complete the course without popping the balloon. "All right, team," I said as I joined them. "What's the plan?" The course was quite challenging, with hurdles to jump over, a narrow balance beam to cross, and a tunnel to crawl through. Carrying a water balloon through all that without breaking it seemed nearly impossible. After some discussion, we decided that the smallest team member would carry the balloon while the rest of us cleared the path and provided support. We strategically placed ourselves at each obstacle, ready to assist. The first few obstacles went smoothly, but as we approached the balance beam, we knew we were in for a challenge. The beam was narrow and wobbly, and one wrong move could send the balloon crashing to the ground. "Okay. I'll go first and test the stability," I volunteered. "Then I'll stand on the side to help balance our balloon carrier." I carefully made my way across the beam, discovering that it was more stable than it looked. Once on the other side, I positioned myself to assist the team member carrying the balloon. "Take your time," I encouraged. "We've got you." Slowly but surely, she made her way across the beam, with the rest of the team ready to catch the balloon if needed. We all held our breath as she took the final step, successfully completing the obstacle with the balloon intact. The final part of the course was the tunnel, which was too narrow for an adult to crawl through. Our balloon carrier had to go through alone, while we waited anxiously on the other side. A few moments later, she emerged from the tunnel, holding the balloon triumphantly in the air. The team erupted in cheers, and I felt a sense of pride in our collective achievement. Just then, the whistle blew, signaling it was time for me to move to the final station. "Great work, everyone," I said before leaving. The fifth and final station was a creative challenge run by a quiet girl named Lily, whom I hadn't noticed before. The task was to create a unique party game using only the materials provided: paper plates, plastic cups, rubber bands, and markers. "All right, team," I said as I joined them. "What ideas do we have?" The group was initially stumped, staring at the materials without inspiration. I decided to break the ice by suggesting a simple game. "What if we stack the cups and try to knock them down using rubber bands?" I proposed. "That's a start," Lily said softly, "but I think we can be more creative." She then picked up a paper plate and began drawing a target on it. "What if we create a catapult using the rubber bands and launch something at the target?" The team's eyes lit up with excitement. They quickly got to work, experimenting with different catapult designs. After a few failed attempts, they created a working model using a plastic cup as the launcher and paper balls as ammunition. "We need a scoring system," one of the team members suggested. They divided the target into concentric circles, assigning different point values to each ring. The closer to the center, the higher the points. As we were testing the game, the whistle blew, signaling the end of the rotation. "Time's up," Ryan announced. "Everyone gather around for the final challenge." I joined the other teams in the center of the yard, curious about what the final challenge would be. Ryan stood on a small platform, addressing the crowd. "Thank you all for participating in the challenge relay," he began. "For our final event, we're going to combine all the skills we've practiced today into one ultimate challenge." He then explained that each team would have 20 minutes to complete a series of tasks that incorporated elements from all 5 stations. They would need to build a structure, solve a puzzle, create a short video, navigate a mini obstacle course, and invent a simple game. "And here's the twist," Ryan continued with a mischievous grin. "Uncle Mark will be the judge, evaluating each team's performance and awarding points based on creativity, teamwork, and execution." I was surprised by this turn of events, but also excited to see what the teams would come up with. As the final challenge began, I moved between the groups, observing their strategies and offering encouragement when needed. Maya's team started by creating a detailed plan, dividing tasks among team members and setting specific goals. They worked methodically, checking off each task as they completed it. Alex's team took a different approach, focusing on the technology aspect first. They quickly filmed their video, then used their phones to research ideas for the other challenges. Ethan and Noah's team was all about speed, rushing through each task with competitive energy. They made a few mistakes along the way, but quickly recovered and kept moving forward. Lily's team was the most creative, thinking outside the box for each challenge. They didn't necessarily complete every task perfectly, but their solutions were innovative and entertaining. Ryan's team, which was composed of members from each of the other groups, struggled initially with coordination but eventually found their rhythm and worked together effectively. As the 20 minutes drew to a close, I made my way back to the center of the yard, ready to evaluate each team's performance. One by one, the teams presented their completed challenges. Maya's team had built an impressive structure, solved their puzzle efficiently, created a well-edited video, navigated the obstacle course with precision, and designed a strategic game. Their execution was flawless, and their teamwork was evident. Alex's team had produced a professional quality video, but their other tasks were less polished. Their structure was functional but not as elaborate as Maya's team's, and they had struggled with the puzzle. Ethan and Noah's team had completed all the tasks but with varying degrees of success. Their structure was hastily built, their puzzle solution was unorthodox but correct, their video was energetic but rough, their obstacle course navigation was fast but messy, and their game was simple but fun. Lily's team had the most creative solutions across the board. Their structure was an artistic masterpiece, their puzzle solution was elegant, their video was imaginative, their obstacle course navigation was theatrical, and their game was original and engaging. Ryan's team had produced a mixed bag of results. Their structure was sturdy but plain, their puzzle solution was correct but slow, their video was well-intentioned but awkward, their obstacle course navigation was careful but time-consuming, and their game was thoughtful but overly complex. After careful consideration, I announced the results. In third place, with a total of 75 points, we have Alex's team. In second place, with 85 points, we have Ethan and Noah's team. I paused for dramatic effect before continuing. And in first place, with 95 points, we have a tie between Maya's team and Lily's team. The crowd erupted in cheers, and the two winning teams celebrated together. Ryan then stepped forward with a special award. And for the best sportsmanship and most improved team, with 80 points, we have my team, he announced, handing out medals to all the participants. As the party wound down, the kids helped clean up the yard, putting away the game materials and gathering their belongings. I was impressed by their responsibility and teamwork, which had been evident throughout the day. Jessica returned just as the last guest was leaving, her expression tired but relieved. "How did it go?" she asked, looking around the clean yard. "It was fantastic," I said with a smile. "Ryan and his friends are amazing. We had a challenge relay, and I got to take turns with each group. They're all so creative and talented." Jessica's eyes widened. "You participated in the challenge relay? I haven't seen you so engaged in a party since you were a teenager yourself." I laughed, realizing she was right. I had been so caught up in the excitement of the day that I hadn't noticed how much I was enjoying myself. Ryan came over and gave me a hug. "Thanks for being part of my party, Uncle Mark. It meant a lot to me that you joined in with my friends." "The pleasure was all mine," I said sincerely. "I had a great time, As we said our goodbyes, I reflected on the day. What had started as a favor to my sister had turned into a meaningful experience with my nephew and his friends. I had witnessed their creativity, their problem-solving skills, and their ability to work together as a team. Driving home, I realized that sometimes the most memorable moments happen when we step out of our comfort zones and embrace new experiences. I had gone to the party expecting to help supervise, but instead, I had participated, learned, and connected with a group of teenagers who had taught me as much as I had taught them. The next morning, I received a text from Ryan. It was a link to a video montage that Alex had created, documenting the challenge relay. As I watched, I smiled at the memories of the day: the marshmallow tower, the human knot, the short movie, the obstacle course, and the catapult game. But what stood out most were the moments of connection: the high fives, the team huddles, the shared laughter, and the proud smiles when a challenge was completed. These were the moments that truly mattered, the moments that made the party special. I replied to Ryan's text with a simple message: "Best party ever. Can't wait for the next one." A few weeks later, I received another text from Jessica. "Mark, I hope you don't mind, but Ryan and his friends have been talking about the party non-stop. They've asked if you'd be willing to help with their school's upcoming Family Fun Day. They want to recreate the challenge relay for the whole school." I couldn't help but smile as I typed my response: "Count me in." What had started as a simple favor had turned into something much more: a connection with my nephew and his friends, a renewed appreciation for teamwork and creativity, and the opportunity to be part of something bigger than myself. And as I looked forward to the next event, I knew that taking turns with Ryan and his friends at the party was just the beginning of a wonderful journey. The Family Fun Day was scheduled for a Saturday a month later, and I found myself meeting with Ryan and his friends to plan the event. We decided to expand the challenge relay to accommodate more participants and create additional stations. Maya suggested adding an art station where teams would have to create a collaborative painting. Alex proposed a technology station with a coding challenge. Ethan and Noah wanted to include a sports element, perhaps a mini basketball tournament. Lily came up with a music station where teams would compose and perform a short song. And Ryan suggested a science station with simple experiments. As we planned, I was impressed by their thoughtfulness and consideration for different interests and abilities. They wanted to ensure that everyone could participate and enjoy the day, regardless of their skills or experience. On the day of the event, the school grounds were buzzing with excitement. Families arrived early, eager to participate in the activities. Ryan and his friends, now experienced event organizers, confidently directed people to their assigned stations. I found myself moving between the stations, helping where needed, and marveling at the creativity and enthusiasm of the participants. The art station was a riot of color, with families working together to create beautiful paintings. The technology station was a hub of concentration, as teams worked to solve coding challenges. The sports station was filled with energy and friendly competition. The music station echoed with laughter and original compositions, and the science station was a flurry of discovery and experimentation. Throughout the day, I witnessed moments of connection, learning, and joy. I saw parents learning from their children, children teaching their parents, and families working together as teams. I saw shy individuals stepping out of their comfort zones, competitive individuals embracing collaboration, and everyone celebrating each other's successes. As the event came to a close, the principal approached me with a smile. "This has been one of our most successful Family Fun Days ever," she said. "The challenge relay was brilliant. Ryan and his friends did an amazing job organizing it, and your involvement really made it special." I looked over at Ryan and his friends, who were busy cleaning up and laughing together. "They're the ones who deserve the credit," I said. "I just helped where I could." The principal nodded thoughtfully. "You know, intergenerational activities like this are so valuable. They bridge gaps, build understanding, and create lasting memories. We should have more events like this." As we said our goodbyes, Ryan and his friends gathered around me. "Thank you so much for helping us today, Mr. Henderson," Maya said. "Yeah, it wouldn't have been the same without you," Alex added. "We're thinking of making the challenge relay an annual tradition," Ryan said with a hopeful look. "Would you be willing to help us again next year?" "Absolutely," I said without hesitation. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Driving home that evening, I reflected on how a simple favor had evolved into something meaningful and ongoing. What had started as a one-time participation in a birthday party game had grown into a tradition that brought families together and created lasting memories. In the months that followed, I found myself more involved in Ryan's life and the lives of his friends. I helped Maya with her art portfolio for college applications. I assisted Alex with a technology project for school. I coached Ethan and Noah's basketball team. I attended Lily's music recital. And I continued to be a supportive presence in Ryan's life. Each interaction, each shared experience, added another layer to our relationship. We were no longer just uncle and nephew, or adult and teenagers. We had become friends, collaborators, and a community. A year later, as we prepared for the second annual challenge relay at the school's Family Fun Day, I marveled at how much had changed. Ryan and his friends had grown, not just physically, but in confidence, skills, and maturity. They were now capable leaders, creative thinkers, and compassionate individuals. The event was even bigger and better than the first year, with more stations, more participants, and more innovative challenges. And as I watched Ryan and his friends confidently directing the activities, I felt a sense of pride and joy. After the event, as we were cleaning up, Ryan approached me with a thoughtful expression. "You know, Uncle Mark, I've been thinking about what we could do next. The challenge relay is great for families, but what if we created something specifically for teenagers? Something that would give them a chance to connect, learn, and have fun in a safe and supportive environment?" I looked at him, impressed by his vision and compassion. "That's a wonderful idea, Ryan. What did you have in mind?" "Well," he began, his eyes lighting up with enthusiasm. "I was thinking we could create a youth program that meets regularly. We could have different themes each month: technology, art, sports, music, science, and more. We could invite guest speakers, organize workshops, and create projects that benefit the community." As he spoke, his friends gathered around, adding their ideas and suggestions. Maya talked about creating a community mural. Alex mentioned teaching coding to younger kids. Ethan and Noah discussed organizing a sports tournament for charity. Lily suggested a benefit concert, and Ryan proposed a science fair that would be open to the entire community. Listening to them, I was struck by their passion, creativity, and desire to make a positive impact. They had grown so much since that birthday party a year ago, and now they were thinking about how they could contribute to their community. "I would be honored to help you create this youth program," I said when they finished. "Just let me know what you need." Over the next few months, we worked together to bring their vision to life. We secured a space at the community center, recruited volunteers, and planned a calendar of events. We named the program Youth Connect and designed it to be inclusive, engaging, and impactful. The launch event was a huge success, with teenagers from across the community attending. We had stations similar to the challenge relay, but with more advanced challenges and opportunities for deeper learning and connection. As I watched the teenagers engaging with each other, learning new skills and having fun, I felt a sense of fulfillment and hope. What had started as a simple favor had grown into something much bigger, a program that was bringing young people together, fostering their growth, and empowering them to make a difference. In the years that followed, Youth Connect continued to grow and evolve. We added new programs, expanded our reach, and deepened our impact. Ryan and his friends graduated from high school and went on to college, but they remained involved as mentors and advisors. New generations of teenagers joined the program, bringing their energy, ideas, and enthusiasm. And I continued to be involved, not as a leader, but as a supporter, guide, and friend. Looking back, I marveled at how a simple text message from my sister had set in motion a chain of events that had transformed not just my life, but the lives of countless young people in our community. The phrase "took turns with me at the party" had taken on a new meaning over the years. It was no longer just about participating in games and activities. It was about taking turns leading and following, teaching and learning, giving and receiving. It was about creating spaces where everyone could contribute, grow, and belong. And as I watched the latest group of teenagers laughing and learning together at a Youth Connect event, I knew that the simple act of taking turns at a birthday party had created a legacy that would continue to ripple through our community for years to come. Sometimes, the most meaningful journeys begin with a simple step, or in this case, a simple text message, and sometimes, the most significant impacts come from the smallest acts of kindness and presence. I often think back to that Saturday afternoon when I received Jessica's text. I could have said no, citing my busy schedule or my discomfort with the idea of supervising a group of teenagers. But I said yes, and in doing so, I opened myself up to a world of connection, growth, and joy. The story of how I took turns with my nephew and his friends at the party is not just about a single event. It's about the ripple effect of saying yes, of showing up, of being present. It's about the magic that happens when we step out of our comfort zones and into the lives of others. And as I continue to be part of Youth Connect, I am reminded daily of the power of connection, the potential of young people, and the joy of taking turns. Not just at parties, but in life. The challenge relay has become a tradition at the school's Family Fun Day, a highlight that families look forward to each year. And Youth Connect has become a cornerstone of our community's youth programming, a place where teenagers can connect, learn, and grow. But more than that, they have become symbols of what is possible when we take turns with each other, when we share our time, our talents, and our hearts. They are reminders that we are all in this together, and that we all have something to contribute. As I look to the future, I am filled with hope and excitement. I know that there will be more challenges, more opportunities, and more moments of connection ahead. And I know that whatever comes, we will face it together, taking turns, supporting each other, and celebrating the journey. The story of how I took turns with my nephew and his friends at the party continues to unfold, with each chapter bringing new adventures, new friendships, and new opportunities to make a difference. And I am grateful to be part of it, one turn at a time. In the end, it's not about the games we played or the challenges we completed. It's about the connections we forged, the lessons we learned, and the joy we shared. It's about the moments when we stepped outside of ourselves and into the lives of others, discovering in the process that we were all changed for the better. And so the story continues, with each turn bringing us closer together, each challenge strengthening our bonds, and each moment adding to the rich tapestry of our shared experience. The party may have ended, but the connections we made and the community we built continue to grow and flourish, one turn at a time. As I reflect on this journey, I am reminded of a quote by Margaret Mead: "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." What started as a small group of teenagers playing games at a birthday party has grown into a community of thoughtful, committed young people who are changing their corner of the world. And I am grateful to have been part of their journey, taking turns, learning together, and making a difference. The story of how I took turns with my nephew and his friends at the party is not just my story, it's our story. And as it continues to unfold, I am excited to see where the next turn will take us.